Liberty Mutual Insurance Company. We're going to be there for you. And by Sears, where you'll find great value. There's more for your life at Sears.
It was a John Elway performance in the first half. He hit 82% of his passes. He hit 4 touchdowns, and the Denver Broncos lead Minnesota 35-7 at halftime. This is a career high for John Elway in terms of number of touchdown tosses, and it's the highest since Craig Morton hit 4 touchdown passes in '81 against San Diego. Quite a first half for the second-round player from Stanford, John Elway. First down, or halftime stats rather, 299 total yards to 164 from Minnesota, and the turnovers again a key factor in a Bronco lead. Terry Bradshaw.
Well, they've had 4 turnovers. They converted all 4 of the turnovers into points. And once again, as we stated earlier in the broadcast, the fact that they have been able to turn all their turnovers into 150-something points, and that's pretty doggone impressive. They did it again today already.
They are now plus 28 in turnovers for the year. Gene Lang, the rookie, will take the second half kickoff. Vern Lundquist and Terry Bradshaw with you from Mile High Stadium. And he gets it out to the 18-yard line. Well, Thanksgiving coming up, and this Thursday, as usual on Thanksgiving Day, CBS Sports will have a full day of football. It begins with the NFL Today, featuring a report on Willie Davis and Max McGee, the former Packers who are champions on and off the field. That's at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. And then the Green Bay Packers, who've now won 4 in a row, will meet the Detroit Lions at the Silverdome. And almost every year, the Lions give us a thrill with that Thanksgiving Day performance, and we look forward to that this coming Thanksgiving afternoon. First down and 10, John Elway back into quarterback. Butch Johnson in motion, the handoff to Rick Paris, and Paris squirts over left guard out near the 27-yard line. Went between the blocks of Keith Bishop and Dave Studdard on that left side. Tom Hannon and Doug Martin made the tackles. Paris is a young man who in his second year, he spent his rookie year on injured reserve. His second season with the Broncos out of Utah State, he rushed for 749 yards, but hasn't had nearly that kind of productivity since then, and came in today with only 76 yards for the season. But because Danny Reeves went with a split-back offense today, he's getting a chance to tote the ball. He's in a split-back situation now with Sammy Winder behind Elway. Second down and 3. Winder gets the handoff.
Steckel, you got to wonder what he told him at halftime in lieu of what had happened last week when it came out that he had said some of the players had quit. Some of the players had voiced their opinion. They didn't particularly think that was so and said so. They had a meeting with some of the players last he did, and he said everything's worked out fine. Going in at halftime down 35-7, you got to believe this man is going to come in there at halftime and give a positive approach. He is a positive person and believes in what he has set up and believes it. Now, whether or not it's going to do any good, 35-7 right now, I think we just have to wait and see.
First down and 10. Elway on the draw play. Winder with room to run to the 42-yard line. That's a pickup of 9. Matt Blair, number 59, made the tackle. Well, those last 2 tough games for Sammy Winder have gone by the boards. He now has 65 yards and 10 carries. He's back on track.
Well, they're doing a good job of disguising their offense. They come out and they give their linemen set down, Vern, and give a pass look, and that makes the linebackers drop deep because they read the guards. They go back deep, and then they turn around and hand the ball off to Winder, and before they can get momentum, the linemen then have come downfield, make the blocks on the linebacker. Hey, it's 10, it's 12 yards downfield.
All of this on the ground to open the third quarter. 35-7. 21 points in the first quarter, 14 in the second.
You heard the old thing, use the passes, shake them up, then set up your running game, and this is what they've done. They've thrown the ball well, now they're running it.
Harris to the 45. I think Rulon Jones and Rick Paris, well, that was Gerald Wilhite, beg your pardon. Wilhite from San Jose State. Billy Bryan a little slow getting up. Wilhite opened the scoring with a 13-yard run. And that was some time ago. It'll be second down and 7.
It'll be interesting to watch this Viking defensive unit and offense. Let's see what happens. 35-7 after a blowout last week. Let's just see how they respond to everything that's happened to this team.
Blitz coming from Fred McNeil on the left side. Elway reads it, drills the ball. Caught by Wilhite close to the first down in Viking territory at the 48-yard line. I think it should be pointed out again, and we talked about this early in the telecast.
Let's take a look at Bishop, number 54 at left guard. First start in quite a while. Studdard, number 70 at tackle. Look at him. Bishop comes out, sticks. Number 73 does a fine job of Elshire, holds him up. Studdard pushes this man down the ground, sticks him down there and pushes him again. Lots of time to throw the football, boy, when you hold guys out like that. Good job. Bishop going out on the sideline now. 63, Mark Cooper back in the football game at left guard.
1st and 10. Watson in motion. Will Height with Paris in front. Shakes a tackle. Squirts down the sidelines out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Rufus Best, number 21, made the tackle.
I want you to take a look at the left side of the offensive line. This time it's Cooper, the left guard, 63, and Studdard, 70. Watch how when John snaps the football, watch them hop to the outside. See them hop to the outside, set up the people, then just hook everybody. Hook them and keep them inside. No, there's no penetration whatsoever until Studfield, number 55, Studwell, comes over and makes the tackle. Good job of those guys.
2nd down and 4. Opening drive, third
Big
quarter.
uglies.
The big uglies.
Look like you.
2nd down and 4. I may be short, but I've got more hair than you do.
More money, too, on my head.
Yeah, right. Here's Sammy Winder to the 39. Joey Browner makes a tackle. I have an unfulfilled ambition, by the way, in the offseason I want you to know about.
What's that?
Before this winter is out, I'm going to get you to my new home in Steamboat. We're going to slap some skis on you. The powder is great, and I'll get Billy Kidd to give you a lesson. And we'll get NFL films there, and it'll be on the NFL Today with Herb and Jimmy and Phyllis and Brent and the whole bunch. We'll have you skiing like an expert for a week.
Hey, look, you know, I love Minnesota and I love Colorado, but hey, you know, the closest thing I'm going to get to skiing is watching it on television. I like my legs intact.
3rd and 2, and the 30-second clock is going to expire before they can get the play called, so Elway uses
Well, that's the second time that's happened again today, and these are something that you got to work out before the playoffs, and they are coming.
Timeout.
I build them. I don't insure them. But Liberty Mutual covers my place with lots of ways to save on the premium. Liberty Mutual.
Save on the premiums?
To save with smoke alarms? Put deadbolt locks on the entry doors. There's all kinds of ways to save. It adds up.
Good advice.
No charge.
For a real value in homeowners insurance, Liberty Mutual is going to be there for you.
A big Thanksgiving weekend of sports begins with a traditional NFL matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions Thursday on CBS Sports.
35-7, Broncos lead. They have the ball with a 3rd and 2 from the Minnesota 39. 10:29 to go, 3rd quarter. Power I set with Paris, the short blocking back. Winder gets the handoff and wiggles for the 1st down plus to the 31-yard line. Nice slithering move by Sammy Winder.
I'll tell you, a good job that time by Studdard. You know, once again, these guys never really get that much, you know, nobody says that much about them. There's Cooper, 63, 54, Bishop, 70, Studdard on Martin. Watch him come down inside, both those guys. Martin's coming down, trying to close the gap off. Studdard cuts him off, seals him down inside, and then allows Winder the opportunity to go out behind where Martin was closing. So that was a good job by those guys.
I knew Dave Studdard had played at Texas. I asked him where he lived in Texas. He said, I don't think you know where it is. I said, where? Try me. Moore. I said, where is Moore? He says, you know where Pearsall is? Here's Paris to the 16-yard line. Got to make a guy like Rick Paris happy that the decision to go with a two-back stare, and he's getting a chance to play today.
Well, I'll tell you, you know what this does, Vern? When you come out in a two-back set, and all year long you've been running the H-back, that is where you have Jim Wright, number 87, as your extra running back and forth blocking. when you come out and you establish a solid running game with 2 backs, the guys that are watching Seattle Seahawks next week say, hey, we've got to prepare for 2 backs now, and it gives them more to worry about. They may not use it, but the fact that they're using it today and using it well is something for Seattle and opposing teams to worry about.
Vikings have gone to 4. No, they've got 3 down linemen. I thought they had 4, but it's only 3. Here's Paris again. He's almost equaled his season total in rushing. Saw the stat before that carry. He had 61 yards going in. Scott Studwell, formerly of the University of Illinois, has really been one of the steady spots for the Vikings this year, and a tumultuous year defensively for them.
Tumultuous year.
I'm going to slip one big one on you every week.
That's a good word. I've got to learn that one. Scott's played well, and we've mentioned his name several times today, and I think if you would refer to quitting, you're not going to call number 55 a quitter, because that guy has been all over the football field. He just made that previous play.
2nd down and 7. Elway will throw it.
Touchdown.
There's 5. That's a career high.
Well, John's got to be saying, gee, this is awful easy. How come I hadn't been doing this for the last couple of years? Oh, well, a little play action. I'll set up here, and I'll shoot this 300 Magnum I got right in the end zone. There he is, a happy young man. Everybody's happy.
In a year and a half as a pro, that's the highest number in a single game. 5 touchdowns for John Elway.
Gosh, just think, I threw 5 once. That was it. And this guy's in his 2nd year, and he's already thrown 5 with 4 games remaining in this season.
He's got a few Super Bowl rings to get, though.
Well, he'll probably get them, too.
Carlos. It's a blowout.
All right, this is one of those old play action, folks. You come out and do a little play action. All that does is try to hold the linebackers, keep them out of getting those deep drops. You come out, and with that great arm, you fire that baby in there, and you got a good receiver like 81 Watson. All it is touchdown.
It has become easy in the 12th week of the season. It's 42-7.
Pontiac.
The editors of Road and Track call the Pontiac 6000 STE one of the world's 12 best enthusiast cars. Car and Driver called the Pontiac 6000 STE one of the 10 best cars of 1984. So why did we make it even better for 1985? Just because. The sensational 6000. Only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
Welcome to Miller Time.
Miller Time begins here, where Miller High Life waits for the finest ingredients to reach their golden best. Then we go beyond ingredients and use the finest brewing skill.
The Denver Broncos begin the second half the way they ended the first half. They go 81 yards, 11 plays for their 6th touchdown today. 5 touchdown tosses by John Elway. Darren Nelson at the 1. To the 25 and then to the 27 before the tackle is made. There are 2 points to this game. The offensive blowout by Denver and the determination and sadness exemplified by Scott Studwell.
Scott comes out, he sees the play action, see him step up, and he pulls out and picks up Butch Johnson coming across the middle, just shucks him inside the 5 and knocks him down on the ground. Then he sees Watson catch a touchdown pass. He's done his job. He turns around. It's been that kind of year.
John Elway has tied a Denver club record with 5 touchdown passes. You want to know how far back it goes? 1962, when you were but a wee lad. Frank Tripucka. Rulon Jones unravels Tommy Kramer, but Kramer gets the pass off to Jordan for the first down at the 43.
That's a good job there. Again, you know, the Vikings have been able to move the football once they've had it. They've had the turnovers, which have just killed them and killed everyone, all the opponents of the Broncos. But Kramer has done a fine job. I'll tell you, Steve Jordan, number 83, has done a fine job today of when they've had a chance to get the football. They've done a good job of getting the ball to their tight end and exercising positive yardage.
Tommy Kramer has called timeout. He'll go talk it over on the Viking bench. Time has been called with the score 42-7.
Pontiac.
It's brand new. It's from Pontiac, and it's called Grand Am. The latest in Pontiac road car technology, Grand Am is a true driver's coupe. That means it's built for drivers who appreciate engineering excellence as well as exciting road machinery. You know who you are. Grand Am, new from Pontiac, only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
I hate to wait.
He hates to wait.
Well, you have to wait. So sorry.
Avis knows how frustrating it is to wait for your rental car. That's why we invented the Wizard number, so you can go right from your plane to the Avis bus.
I hate to wait.
We'll get you on your way and into your car fast. We know you hate to wait, so from reservation to return.
I hate to wait.
He hates to wait.
We're trying harder, faster.
I hate to wait.
Tuesday, it's the ultimate game show.
We go for the money.
But if they take the money...
Then you have to agree never to see each other again.
Will Suzanne Plachette and Gil Gerard go for love or money Tuesday?
I know, one of the problems you have when you have a quarterback that has had the injuries that Tommy has had over the last couple of years, you want to give him time to throw the football. Rulon Jones that time comes in on Tommy, hits him high in the shoulder, hits him on the left side, jams it up, then drives him into the ground. Now he's throwing the football on the sideline, but Wade Wilson, number 11, has come in and has taken his place, so we'll have to wait and see whether or not Kramer returns.
Wilson will put it up on the first snap he takes, and it's incomplete. Behind Leo Lewis, but should have been caught.
I tell you, Wilson took a shot that time from Jim Ryan, number 50, the linebacker, left outside linebacker who was blitzing, came in and just popped Wade right when he threw the football. Once again, the receiver was wide open, didn't quite have the time that he needed to get the football to him. There's old Jim Ryan, number 50. This guy's only 6'1", about 215, Vern.
You know, Terry, this is a team that lost Bob Swenson and Randy Gratishar. Swenson with an injury, Gratishar to retirement. One of the keys, I think, for the Broncos has been their team defense and the way they've absorbed the losses of those two men.
Well, as you can see there, 12 different players have interceptions, 16 different players have quarterback sacks, and 14 different players. There's the pass. Good job again of Leo Lewis, number 87.
Spread the goodies around, and the flag was down. They'll bring that play back.
Yeah, but when you've got everyone getting involved, picking up fumbles, taking the football in, everybody's getting interceptions, everybody's having the opportunity to become a part of the defense and be responsible for their winning. Everybody, that's what brings in that team unity and that everybody gets together and that cohesiveness that you need to win in the National Football League. And boy, they have spread it out well.
Wade Wilson, a former 8th-round draft choice from East Texas State in Commerce.
Well, look, they send a herd in, bring a herd out. Send a bunch in, and a bunch comes out. I'll tell you a guy we need to keep an eye on, old Carl Meckenberg, number 77. This guy plays linebacker, tackle, and look, now he's going to get, they say, no, get outside, Carl. Now number 77, Carl, is on the outside.
Lined up at left defensive end. Irwin does a good job of blocking him. The pass is caught by Ted Brown, and he gets it out to about the 47-yard line.
Mecklenburg is an interesting story because he's a guy that they have in here that they play at a lot of positions. He's, kind of like Dewey down in Miami. They line him down inside and they rush him. They'll drop him off at linebacker and blitz him. And he'll play tackle on the prevent. So they move him around well. The guy's really a talented player.
If you want to put a key tackle that set the tone for this season, it would be Mecklenburg on Marcus Allen in the first game with the Raiders here. He set the tone for that game and indeed set the tone for the season, and here's the blitz. Wilson gets rid of it, caught by Ted Brown to the 40, first down.
Now you see what they're doing? They're doing the things that they've been doing all year long. They're completing a lot of passes. They were doing this early in the first quarter, into the second quarter, but the end result has been fumbles and interceptions. But the Minnesota Vikings, I can't say that Denver has stopped them. I can only say that they've stopped themselves, and that's kind of been, the trademark throughout this 84 season. Dan Radakovich, offensive line coach, has got his boys playing well. They're doing a good job of protecting Wade Wilson.
The offensive line has not been the biggest problem Minnesota has had. It's really been the problem with the defensive line this year. Now they've got a 1st and 10. Here's the handoff to Alfred Anderson, coming left with 318 pounds of Curtis Rouse in front of him.
Randy Robbins
made the tackle.
Strong safety. Randy Robbins come flying up inside and really did a good job of taking the back's feet right out from run. It was really interesting that time. They pulled Terry Towle, 66, Tim Irwin, 76, the tackle, the end. They pulled everybody that time but the quarterback.
I got to tell you,
he made the tackle.
Curtis Rouse at 318 is coming around that corner like a berserk train. If I'm a cornerback, I'm heading south. Forget it. They don't pay me enough to try and get that guy out of the way.
Well, that's why you're up here, Vern.
You got it, Biggin. 2nd down. 8 from the 38. 5:14 to go, third quarter. 42-7. Here's Wilson back to play. Mecklenburg cuts him.
Well, by golly, look, he takes the flag out, throws it up in the air. I'll tell you what, I want you to take a look and see what Teddy Brown, number 23, does on 75. Rulon Jones, right in for the Broncos. I hope we can get it here as he drops back. As you can see, Wilson, he stands there, waits, scrambles outside. Wilson does. Mecklenburg, number 77, does a good job of running him down and tackling. But anyway, Rulon Jones, when he got through, he lines up wide to get a good rush on the quarterback. When he did that, Steve Riley came outside, set him up, and then Teddy Brown, 23, just cut his legs right out from under him.
Gary Kubiak might be coming in the lineup the next time Denver gets the ball. Third down, 11. Reverse. Ted Brown, 2 blockers in front, one of whom is Steve Riley. And Brown gets to the 30. That might be enough for the first down as Bryson Manor, who was reacquired just this week by Denver, having been put on waivers from Tampa Bay, made the tackle, number 69.
He went down there as number 66. He left here as 66, was traded to Tampa, released by Tampa, and came back as number 69. You know, getting back to Rulon Jones, we were talking to Steve Riley yesterday, and I was telling him, we were just shooting the breeze about old theories and everything. I said, we used to cut people. We used to set them up with our tackles and take our backs and cut them. He said, gee whiz, you know, that Rulon Jones is really something. Maybe we're going to have an offensive line meeting. I'll talk to Dan Radakovich, and maybe we can do that. Sure enough, they did it. I wonder if he talked to him.
See, I told you those meetings on Friday and Saturday are worthwhile. Timeout has been called. 42-7, 4 minutes to go, third quarter.
Strong workers will soon arrive to build. In years past, some would fall. So this Minnesota construction company asked Liberty Mutual for help. They worked with our own loss prevention people. Together, they developed better safety controls and a system that makes even this a safer place to work. Liberty Mutual's loss prevention people work across the nation. One way we're going to be there for you.
Pontiac.
When you get a Pontiac Sunbird, you get a car that's practical and easy to own. When you get a Pontiac Sunbird, you get a car that's technically advanced and carefully built. And when you get a Pontiac Sunbird, you can also get a car with 150 turbocharged horsepower. If you're so inclined. Sunbird, only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
There's Dan Reeves, now in his 4th year as head coach of the Broncos. Few remember, but one of the highlights of his playing career came in the Ice Bowl game in 1967. He threw a touchdown pass to Lance Rensel that gave the Cowboys a 17-14 lead.
I remember that. I was just a wee child. You know, we were talking to him the other day, and he's such a neat guy. The owner's, I guess, 4 months younger than him.
Right, Pat
And he
Bowman.
came in there, Pat did, and he hollered at him, look, we're going to go eat at a greasy spoon.
That's right. 4th down, Vikings will go for it. Alfred Anderson with a pitch, sweep, gets a block from Brown, rather. Wants to throw, can't. Finally gets rid of it. And no matter what, Denver's going to take over. Now, boy, gets a Brown from block, huh?
That was, you know, you can get fancy with a lot of stuff, and it's good when you use these gadget plays. They're effective when they're applied properly, but when you're down at fourth down and this and that, you know, you got to come out with some stuff other than gadget passes and trick runs and whatnot, and that's what they tried to do that time. And you're not going to fool a great defense like this, which is turning out to be one all the time. We got us a new quarterback now, and Gary Kubiak out of Texas A&M, number 8.
Gary Kubiak in his 2nd year. The hero, or one of the heroes, in the overtime win in Los Angeles when John Elway was injured. Gary, for the season, has hit 58% of his passes, 420 yards. John will get a rest with a career-high 5 touchdown tosses. Gene Lang and Gerald Wilhite are the running backs. Ray Alexander, the wide receiver. Wilhite, or Lang, rather. He's an 11th round draft choice from Louisiana State. One of the keys to this Denver's unexpected resurgence this year is Lang's going to be a little slow getting up. Dan Reeves told us the other day every one of their draft choices made the ball club. They have 20 guys on this team who are younger than John Elway. And here they are, about to be 11-1.
Well, they have 20 younger than John, then they have 30 players that are 1, 2, or 3-year players. So this football team is a young football team. And if you have to look for reasons why aren't they dominating on offense or dominating on defense, hey, they're 10-1, and these guys are learning how to win.
The running offense, of course, they had only 62 yards against San Diego last week and 28 against New England. But today, 169 yards. It has come back for them. This is mindful of games earlier in the season. For example, they iced the first game against the Raiders here when they ran for 231 yards. They also had a 210-yard game against Kansas City, but it had gone awry in recent weeks, and now they've gotten it back.
Well, you got to have this. You got to have a running attack to complement your passing, whichever you want to complement one another, whether it's the passing, complementing the running. They've got it going today. Jesse
Miles, another of the rookies who has carried only once this year, gets his second carry of the season, and he's out to the 40-yard line. A lot of the credit, I think, for the youth of this team goes to Reed Johnson, who in 1957 was a scat back on the Highland Park High School team that won the state championship in Texas. Worked with Danny for 8 years as a scout with the Cowboys, came up here as a special teams coach, and is now the director of college scouting.
Are those stars for all the players that have made the team and made all Pro Bowl, or?
I think so. Miami still leading over San Diego by 7, 21-14. 49ers are about to go 11-1, have increased their lead over Tampa Bay 21-10. And Houston, look at this. Oilers on a roll. About to win their second in a row. 24-13 over the Jets if that holds. 3rd and 1. Power eye set. Jesse Miles carries the ball for the second time. That doubles his productivity for the year. Raiders trying to break a 3-game losing streak, have a 2-touchdown lead over Kansas City. Well, John Elway for the day. Not a bad afternoon. 16 of 19 for 218 yards and 5 touchdowns. And he had 9 touchdowns coming in. He did not throw an interception today, so he's still only 8 interceptions for the year and now 14 TDs for the season. Alexander in motion. Chris Brewer has joined the backfield. Boy, the rookies love this. Chris Brewer for the season had minus yardage. He had only minus 1 yard on 3 carries. He's now gone to the plus side. Tommy Hannon made the tackle. Coming up tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, followed by Angela Lansbury's great hit Murder, She Wrote, The Jeffersons, Alice Trapper John, MD. That's all tonight following our game on CBS. We've got 2:05 to go third quarter. Vern Lundquist, Terry Bradshaw here at Mile High Stadium. Zach Thomas in motion. Jesse Miles. Well, I know that Les Steckel told his team all week he thought Dan Reeves might be looking beyond this game to Seattle and would rest some people. I don't think Steckel thought that the resting would come with the score 42-7.
Well, and in talking to their players yesterday, I don't think their players bought that either. You know, in talking to their players, they didn't really believe that Denver was going to come out and rest players in a game where they have to continue winning just to stay in pace with the Seattle Seahawks, or vice versa, however you want to look at it. He did say, you know, I asked him, to Coach, what are your main interest in the draft next year, because the football team is 3-8, and he specifically said, hey, we've got to get defense. We've got to get some defensive players.
3rd and 1. Don Summers in motion. Pitch out. Chris Brewer.
Studwell fumble.
Recovered. Minnesota.
I'll tell you what, if he'll go out and get him 10 more Scott Studwells, number 55, who play with that kind of desire and determination, they'll change this thing around. We're going to take a good shot this time. Number 72, Dave Studdard. There you see number 70 outside. He's sitting inside, hooked up. Studwell frees him. He comes inside on number 26, knocks the football loose.
Rufus
fine
Betts.
Job. Yeah, Rufus Betts, number 21, comes in and gets the football.
There's Scott Studwell, now in his 8th year. And the turnover is now 4 for Minnesota, 2 for the Broncos. First down 10. Wade Wilson continues at quarterback. Archie Manning was at one time listed as a second-team quarterback, but he's now taken the third spot. Darren Nelson gets the handoff, or the pitch out rather, and comes left to the 42. 1:04 to go in the third quarter. Our score 42-7. Now let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Vern, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have climbed back into the game against the San Francisco 49ers. Steve DeBerg does it right here to Gerald Carter for the touchdown. They're in the fourth quarter, and now it is 21-17 Niners. Back to Vern.
Thank you, Brent. 21-17, so Tampa Bay's not out of it.
I love that quote Walsh had about DeBerg. He said, if you want to lose, you want a guy that'll find a way to lose for you, get Steve DeBerg. Well, hey, Steve DeBerg may have been reading all that.
Darren Nelson.
First down.
Gets the first down yardage.
You know, so many things go through you. You know, you sit here and you watch a team that's down 42-7. 42-7. You sit here and you watch it, and you got to say, what in the world's going through their mind? You know, I guess the Viking fans are wondering, you know, what do we got to do to turn this thing around? I think probably there's a lot of good that can come out of this when you got a guy like Wade Wilson. Take the football, drive it down there, get some points, get exciting, don't give up. You know, really keep that determination going.
Third quarter has expired here in Denver. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Denver 42, Minnesota 7. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Friday, a duel between two of college football's top passers. Heisman candidate Doug Flutie and Boston College face Bernie Kosar and Miami. Friday on CBS Sports. This is CBS.
Good afternoon, I'm Bertha Lynn, and this is a News 7 update. There's joy in Broncoville as the plundering herd gives a big Denver welcome to the Minnesota Vikings. We'll have live locker room interviews and highlights right after the game. We'll also meet some football fans who know which team is number one. And what would you do with $2.25 million? We'll meet some of the folks who could win the biggest sky's the limit lottery jackpot yet. We'll have all of that and, of course, the weather right after the Bronco game on News 7.
O'Mara Ford Center asked for a miracle, and we got it. 150 front-wheel drive Tempos, a special order from Ford, and now they're here. You can drive one home for only $115 per month. And to help you stay in shape for winter, a free Holiday Health Club membership. I can't believe it. Now they want them all sold by December 1st. Front-wheel drive with room for 5 for only $115 per month. That's O'Mara Ford Center, 104th and I-25.
It wasn't working. Our winery, owned by a big corporation 3,000 miles away. They could never have the same feeling about Colony we have. We live here and make the wine. That's why we scraped together everything we had and bought our winery back. To make Colony wines that won't take a backseat to anyone. Not Almaden, not Parmesan, not anyone. When something's your own, you just take more pride in it. Taste Colony. You'll see what I mean.
Stay there for the next week or so. John Elway with 5 touchdown tosses. They're not smiling on the Viking side of the ball. 42-7 as we get ready to go to the fourth quarter. Vern Lundquist and Terry Bradshaw. Wade Wilson back to throw. Comes across the middle. Leo Lewis is open at the 20, and that'll be a first down for the Vikings. 42-7. It was a quick 21-0 lead on turnovers and touchdown tosses in the first quarter. Minnesota came back to make it 21-7. The Broncos scored to make it 28-7 at the half, and then they blew it open in the third quarter. Terry?
Well, you know what happened, really? It could have been 28-14 when they went for the fourth down and got the interception. That could have really turned the whole game around, but as it stands right now, it did not, and they're, 42-7.
First down and 10. I formation. Alfred Anderson, the short back, and Darren Nelson is now the only setback. Darren Nelson gets a block from Anderson and 3 difficult yards.
Rulon Jones, number 75. I'll tell you something. My brother Craig, who lives down in Baton Rouge, played at Utah State. He was a quarterback up there, shared the time with Eric Hipple. One of the guys on their football team was Rulon Jones, and Craig was telling me, I asked him when I was in Pittsburgh, I said, hey, man, you got any prospects up there? He says, well, there's this big old guy that really doesn't have a lot of muscle on him named Rulon Jones. He's kind of a good-looking fella and 6'6", about 265, but he says, you know what? He's one heck of a football player.
Second down and 8.
Rulon Jones. Good football name.
Alfred Anderson in motion. Wilson across the middle to Dwight Collins. He's down to the 11-yard line. You know something? I saw your brother throw his first touchdown pass for Utah State.
Get out of here.
Yeah, really did. Brigham Young. No.
Against BYU.
Did a Brigham Young game, absolutely.
He had an arm, didn't he?
He could gun it. That's exactly right. Craig Bradshaw.
That family blood, I guess.
Whatever happened to your older brother, Gary?
Gary, well, he fell out of a tree. Gary liked to build tree houses, and he fell out of a tree and broke his back. That took care of his football years. He's a singer anyway.
3rd down and 2. Wilson in the face of a blitz. Man is wide open. Ted Brown. Can't quite get in. Steve Wilson knocks him out of bounds.
I'll tell you what, I love these Vikings. They've got a way to get the football to everyone. You want to blitz? Fine. Go ahead, blitz. We'll dink it off Ted Brown. You want to do this? We'll just dink it off to old Steve Jordan, number 83. And it seems like that when one quarterback goes out, another one comes in, offense just keeps on moving. Good job. Steve Wilson did a fine job. They had no one on protecting the outside. He did a good job. You're going to see he drops back. Steve Riley misses his guy. Rulon comes in. 57 Jackson blitzing, and he stood his ground, popped the ball out there. Good job.
First and goal, Minnesota. Broncos have given up only an average of 13.6 points per game. They've given up 7 so far today. That's down to the 1-yard line. Ted Brown gets the 1. Of course, Tommy Kramer went out a while ago, having been sacked by Rulon Jones. He's back in action for the first time since separating his shoulder. Really had the kind of a knee injury last year in the 3rd game of the year. They didn't know whether he'd ever come back and play. But
he did that, and then he got separated shoulder, Vern. And, you know, I really believe Tommy can play right now, but they're smart and keep him out. He took a shot on the shoulder. Both of them, actually. Keep him on the sideline and let this young man play. Get a lot of experience.
2nd and goal. 42-7 with 12:30 to go in the game. Nope. 3rd and goal. That was Steve Busick, number 58, who has taken the place of Randy Gradishar. I know you and Randy were talking about the job that Busick has done before the game down on the field.
I asked him about him. I said, what is this number 58, this Steve Busick? He said, well, he's a big guy. You know, he's 6'4", about 230, but he's extremely intelligent. He's smart. And he said he came in and he learned fast. You know, our coaches taught him, and he picked it up fast and you know, just done a real fine job with it. And see right there, he played the goal line offense that time extremely well.
3rd and goal from the 1. Brown and Anderson are the setbacks. Trying, gets a great block, touchdown. Oh my goodness. Alfred Anderson and Steve Jordan did a terrific job of blocking on the right side. And Ted Brown just strolled in for 6 more.
Well, one of the things that they liked about Anderson coming out of Baylor University when they drafted him was in the 3rd round was the fact that he was not only was he a good running back but a good blocker. As you can see there, did a fine job of blocking. The number 23 took it in, Ted Brown outside. Good job also by number 83, Steve Jordan, their tight end.
Jan Stenerud, who will celebrate his 42nd birthday, is on for the extra point. With that touchdown, Ted Brown climbs into a tie for 3rd in number of career rushing touchdowns for the Vikings. There's Stenerud. He'll be 42 a week from tomorrow. Just like he's always done it. Longest field goal of his career came here in Denver in 1969 when you were still at Louisiana Tech. 55 yards. Timeout.
Computers that not only enhance individual performance, but work in harmony with one another and compatibly with our competitors to bring out the brilliance in all. Wang, we put people in front of computers.
Time dawn. Event Sears' biggest automotive sale of the year.
Okay, men. Time for one last run-through. Johnson?
All tires on sale, sir.
Martin? Wynn?
All shocks, 25 to 50% off, sir.
Lechner?
All car batteries, 15 to 25% off, sir.
The days ahead will not be easy, men, but I am confident that this will be the biggest automotive sale of the year. Our motto, men?
Reinstall confidence. Day and night, sir.
There's more for your life. Let's go to work.
At Sears.
Indeed, it is 42-14, but they love their football in the Mile High City, and 75,000 plus who gathered here 3 hours ago are still here. We've not had a soul leave, I don't believe, and we've got 12:04 remaining in the game. The 107th consecutive sellout for the Denver Broncos. Interesting, you look at their press guide and they have season highlights or historical highlights of the team listed in the back. Every year they list the number of people, Terry, who do not want to renew their season tickets, and it's always like 106. 114 were dissatisfied this season. Other teams in the league would love that, huh? This might be an onside kick, huh? See how much football I've learned hanging around with you.
Oh, you're a brilliant man. Really,
well, you're just a good teacher.
Well, I'll do my best. And there's your
onside kick. That is a free ball, and it's finally picked up back at the 2, and we're talking rather pathetic field position for the Denver Broncos. Zach Thomas went back on the aborted onside kick. So the Broncos will have the ball 1st and 10 from the 3. Coming up next Saturday, first game of our CBS doubleheaders next Sunday, rather, the Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That will kick it all off with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern Time. And in the second half of the doubleheader, some of you will see the New Orleans Saints against the San Francisco 49ers or the Chicago Bears against the Minnesota Vikings as the Vikings go back home for the first of four more tough games. 24-17 now. The 49ers still holding their lead over Tampa Bay. We've got 11:54 to go. 1st and 10. Jesse Miles and Chris Brewer are the running backs in the I. Deep handoff goes to Chris Brewer. He's out across the 7 near the 8-yard line. Brewer, a 9th-round draft choice from Arizona.
Now, I tell you what, it's real easy to jerk those things around and act real tough here at home. Boy, that's nice. You got 70, 80,000 people here, and you can jerk around and scream and holler because you got a lot of folks here that like to see that. They're on your side. But, boy, you take this baby down to Minneapolis and try to do that kind of stuff, and it's kind of rough doing. One of my favorite stadiums. I always like playing here, Vern. It's a beautiful setting and gorgeous football. The stadium is right on top of the field. Boy,
I've been telling you all fall why I moved to Colorado. It's a great place.
Your wife made you.
2nd down, 5 from 9. Brewer again. He's getting more extensive playing time than he's had all season, and he's responding. Scott Studwell made the tackle.
Good job by Billy Bryan, the center. Howard.
One thing you've got to love about the stadium here as we look at the Miami score, 28-14, it stacks almost perpendicular, almost straight up.
It does.
And the crowd is right down on the field, isn't it?
All the other stadiums lean away, and you can't really get a feel for the fans. But, boy, you can a guy on the top deck can holler at you and you hear him.
Ray Alexander, who caught his first touchdown pass as a pro earlier, is in motion. Brewer with Miles blocking for him. Gets to the 30, and the 20, rather, and the flags come flying. Neil Elshire and Charlie Johnson made the tackle.
I'll tell you one thing. You look at the score and you say, boy, you got all these guys in there now, but you think they're going to let up? You're crazy. These young kids are saying, hey, man, block for me, baby. I'm going to get some yardage. I'm going to catch some passes. Let's do it. It's really kind of interesting to see how these young people play.
Step time. And that'll be against Denver. Chuck Heberling is having a problem with his microphone. There's how that stadium, it cuts right down and surrounds the field with a wave of sound from these 75,000 people. They say of many stadiums there aren't bad seats. I think it's really true here. 1st and 10 from the 7-yard line. 10:42 to go in the game. Studwell with another fine hit on Jesse Miles. Gary Kubiak, who, as we said, came on in relief of Elway and led the team to a victory earlier this year, may be an ideal kind of guy for a backup quarterback. His disposition seems to be just absolutely perfectly suited to the spot he's playing.
Well, it may be so. Being a second-year player, it's a little bit easier to be a little more patient right now, unlike what happened in Dallas with Hogenboom. And 5 years, 6 years, you may see a change in this because the young man will have a burning desire to play and start. So right now, yeah, it may be so, but later on I expect it to change.
From the end zone, Kubiak will throw it. Left side.
Got it set up.
Chris Brewer to the 23-yard line.
Hey, this guy's impressive, this Brewer. Boy, he catches a little flare pass, a little screen, gets outside, and does a fine job of getting downfield.
John Swain and Scott Studwell on the tackles.
We're going to watch it again. It just drops back, Billy Bryan, the center, is going to pull out after they set up. Good job. Gets the ball out to him. Downfield, see Bryan, 64. Good job. Boy, bam, down in there. Boom, down on the ground. Lays on him. Guy flies up inside. Puts his head down.
That'll make it a 3rd down and 4 from the 23 with 9:20 to go in the ball game. Kubiak under some pressure from Matt Blair. Drills it. Jim Wright, the tight end, can't hang on. We've got a flag back at the 28-yard line. Intended for Jim Wright. Now we'll check the infraction. Maybe on Winford Hood, another of the rookies who is in the line, ineligible receiver downfield, and I'll bet it's number 74. He's in there in place of Ken Lanier now. Houston still leading the Jets by 24-13 score in the 4th quarter. And the Raiders hanging on to a 14-0 lead over Kansas City. There's Winford Hood. And Dan Reeves.
Big old Winford Hood.
And the penalty is declined. We're having problems with Chuck Everling's microphone. It was an eligible receiver downfield on Hood. Declined. Chris Norman is on to punt with 9:09 to go. Darren Nelson is the middleman of 3 back to return the punt. He's at the 35-yard line. 4th and 4. They're counting bodies on the Broncos side. And they've got 11.
Nice high kick.
Fair catch. Darren Nelson at the 37-yard line. Has to evade a near brush block from Leo Lewis. 42-14 the score. Mop-up time here in Denver as the Vikings try and play for pride.
This is today's Chevrolet.
Come on in, take the wheel, start it up, get the feel of the road that goes on. Straight ahead, on your own, the light turns green and you're gone on the road that goes on. The road goes on. Yours today, Chevy, be today, Chevy, drive today, Chevy, live today, Chevy.
Live it.
Chevy.
Here's to good friends.
Terrific reunion.
Yeah, the last time we were here, we made history.
Night is kind of special.
I stole that ball. I made the pass.
I made the shot.
Make that shot again, we'll buy you a loan drop.
The beer will pour. Must say something more.
Hey, what can I tell you? We still got it.
Never lost it.
Let it be low and brown.
9 minutes to go, 4th quarter, on a day when the defense of the Broncos was nicknamed the Plundering Herd. It's been the thundering arm of John Elway that has led them to the victory. They lead 42-14, and the Vikings have the ball with Wade Wilson at quarterback. Dwight Collins in motion wide to the left, and Wilson back to throw. Across the middle, dropped by Teddy Brown. Steve Busick is there to make sure that if he had caught it, he wouldn't have gotten much more.
This was a good job by the young quarterback. He comes back, and once again, they're trying to get the ball deep. They had their receivers downfield running those 20 and 25-yard in routes. Guys are dropping back, the linebackers are, and forcing young Wilson to take the underneath stuff. He doesn't want to. He knows he's only got 8 minutes left, and they're far behind. He needs to get the football into the end zone, but he's smart. He's taking what the defense is giving him, and that's all you can ask him to do in a situation like this.
2nd down and 10.
Me personally, I'd have thrown it 25 yards downfield.
4-man rush by the Broncos. Oh, should have been caught. The Broncos, of course, right now looking forward to Seattle and thinking about the Super Bowl and proud of their defense. They are not rated highly this year in the statistical categories. And with the exception of Oakland in '81, almost every defensive Super Bowl champion, Terry, has had that very good defensive unit.
Well, you've got to, I always believe that it's a theory that's been proven throughout the years that you win championships with good defense. Matter of fact, great defense. You hesitate to say that this is a great defense, but hey, look here. This football team is 10-1. You got to say that, by golly, they're doing something great.
3rd and 10 for the Vikings, trailing 42-14. Wilson, deep right side, makes up on the pattern. Randy Robbins is the man closest to it. There's also a flag down.
You know, a lot of times when young players come into the National Football League, there are a lot of things they do to try to prepare themselves, things they do. As you can see, Wilson runs off. Look at his left wrist, folks. Well, that's a plastic armband that has a plastic sleeve over it where he can see the plays on there and prevent the moisture from getting to him and erasing them. I used to wear one of those in college, and I always thought, well, quarterbacks are supposed to be smart. You're not going to believe this, Vern. But I did not want to wear that. I told my coach, if I wear this, they're going to think I'm dumb and can't remember the plays. Well, by golly, I didn't wear it, and sure enough, they still thought I was dumb.
We're doing our best to eradicate that reputation.
Eradicate?
Yep. E-R-A-D-I-C-A-T-E.
Yeah.
Erase.
I played with him.
Yeah, Dan Eradicate. He's the line coach for the Vikings. Was here in Denver last year. Had a son, had a daughter who was in the Olympics.
That's right, sang in the choir.
Gerald Wilhite back to return the punt. 8:46 to go in the ball game.
Nice punt.
Good kick by Greg Coleman. Wilhite at the 20. To the 25.5-yard line. Where the Broncos get the ball back, Gary Kubiak will come on the field. Denver has only 2 quarterbacks in the active roster.
Nothing works like a Chevy truck. And when me and my friends want to relax, nothing works like a Chevy S10 Maxi Cab. So bring out the sun, bring out the fun. We got to go, let's get on and run.
Get yourself the 4x4 sport truck taken to the max with Instatrack 4-wheel drive and rugged off-road package available. Chevy S10 Maxi Cab.
Now that's what I call relaxation. Nothing works like a Chevy truck. Nothing.
You know, a quarterback can't afford a breakdown in protection. That's why I use protection of Conoco motor oil in my car. Now, it can't prevent all your engine problems, but it might surprise you to know that in millions of miles of everyday use, the formulation of premium Conoco motor oils has never caused an engine breakdown. My protection just never quits. Conoco, products that protect.
Monday,
You are bait for a killer, plain and simple.
an undercover assignment tears Lacey's family apart.
Don't go out in the cab again, please.
Cagney and Lacey, Monday.
We spoke about the fervor with which these fans support the Broncos, but there's an interesting contrast. Here they are. Everybody is still here in a 42-14 blowout. 2 weeks ago against New England, they were booing the offensive unit when they fell behind New England early. I know in your experience you never found fans to be fickle. Here's Chris Brewer.
Well, every player goes around the football league, and you sit down when you're through playing football and say, hey, you know, what was the hardest place to play in? Well, this was one. Not only is it a beautiful stadium, but it was extremely difficult to play in. They had the Iron Crush back then, 76, 77, 78. And, boy, we had a hard time playing in here, and they booed us. Now, I don't know about booing these guys, but they sure enough booed us.
Doug Martin, who's been hampered by a bad ankle all year, is back on the sidelines now. It'll be 2nd down and 10, 8 minutes to go in the game. Chris Brewer has carried 5 times for 21 yards. He's got to be pleased. He's a Denver native and was an all-state player at George Washington High School here in Denver in his prep days. Kubiak back to throw into the flat for Chris Brewer. Now he's caught a pass before the hometown fans at the 30-yard line.
You know, you got to be impressed with Brewer and the way he's running the football and he's catching them. And I tell you, the guy looks like a first liner here, you know. I was thinking back talking to Les Steckel yesterday, and you got to reflect. You think about their defense. The fact that Mark Mulaney, number 77, has virtually played none this year. When he has, he's been injured. Martin, number 79, their other end has been hurt entire season. They've had little or no pass rush whatsoever. Their linebackers, Matt Blair's been out for a lot of part of the year with the knee, and hey, they just have never had their top line players in there. Never had a chance to be competitive.
Kubiak will throw on 3rd and 5. Face of a rush, stumbles, good balance. Neil Elshire buries him. It'll be 4th down. With the loss today, of course, the Vikings will fall to 3-9, and that means they cannot accomplish one of their aspirations, and that's to finish 500 this year. They will finish no better than 7-9 if they win every game. That has not been the history of this proud franchise. They had a tough year in 1981 when they were 7-9 and 79 in 1979, but after that you go all the way back to the formative years in the 60s. They were below 500 the last time in '67. There's the first-year head coach, Les Steckel.
Well, it's easy to jump on a guy like this, but I'm going to tell you what. He's got a program he believes in. As long as he believes in it, by golly, you got to believe in him. And I think you got to stay with that. The guy's going to put it together. The plan's going to work. Either that or he'll be moving on somewhere else in another 3 or 4 years. But players say they believe in him. We'll see. It just takes time. He said he's got to get his players in here. He's got to get some defense. He's going to draft those players. It does take time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Chris Norman with the kick. Darren Nelson with the catch at the 36. Calls for the fair catch and takes it. Timeout has been called with 6:28 to go in the ball game, and Denver coasting to its 11th win of the year.
I like small cars.
We need more room.
Today, Chevrolet has a car for you, the midsize Celebrity.
Feel the room, ride in style, go in comfort every mile.
Enjoy midsize room with economy and a price that's surprisingly small. Celebrity.
Lots of stuff here. If this is today's Chevrolet, I like it.
And we need it.
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy.
Live it.
Chevy.
Did you hear AT&T has introduced something rather radical? The Reach Out America plan. Calling anywhere in the United States weekends and nights is just $10 an hour. The next is even less. So you can see how far your money goes. Quite ingenious, really. They even have a number for ordering. 1-800-551-3131. Reach Out America. They may be on to something.
AT&T. The more you hear, the better we sound.
6.5 to go, just 2 seconds under that. Vern Lundquist and Terry Bradshaw back at Mile High Stadium. Vikings down by 28 points. Wade Wilson came on in relief of Tommy Kramer near the latter stages of the third quarter. Kramer out with a re-injured shoulder. Here's a reverse. Darren Nelson. Well, they're still pulling out the gadget plays, and they get 11 yards.
You know what, Lois, like I said earlier.
By golly, they're in the game plan, and we're going to run them.
Well, no, you put them in. You know, in Pittsburgh, we didn't have that many gadget plays, and when we did, we ran them once, maybe twice a year, and here they run. Gosh, they have gadget plays for everyone that's involved on the football team, and you use them. And once again, the team that's playing the Vikings next week, they have to see these things, and you could spend 2 solid days working on gadgets, reverses, fake reverse pass, handoff, tackle eligible. My gosh, you could go crazy trying to defend this junk, and that's what they're doing.
Just short of the first down. It'll be second and about a foot. 5:40 to go in the ball game. It's 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. The only time the issue was in doubt when it was 28-7 and Minnesota was driving for what could have cut the lead, a touchdown that could have cut the lead to 28-14.
Louis Wright, number 20. Good job coming up from left corner.
On Darren Nelson. Our score 42-14 with 5:20 to go in the ball game. Elsewhere around the league, Buffalo wins its first as the Cowboys fall to 7-5, but they've got a lot of company in the NFC Easy Division. The Giants over St. Louis, they are 7-5, so are the Cardinals. Washington falls to Philadelphia. The Redskins are 7-5, and Philadelphia is chasing the other 4. Chicago gets a win with a 19-yard field goal, 2 seconds remaining in the game. They go to 8-4 for the season. First and 10 from the 48-yard line, 4:50 to go in the game, 42-14, Denver leads. Across the middle, Leo Lewis, incomplete. Also in the National Football League on this 12th week of the 1984 season, Green Bay wins its 4th in a row, hampering the efforts of the Rams to get a wild card spot. Cleveland pounds Atlanta in Atlanta 23-7 as Marty Schottenheimer gets his second win. New England 50-17. Raymond Berry has gotten a couple of victories under his belt. Seattle keeps pace with the Broncos 26-6 in the snowstorm in Cincinnati today. They're just a game back of the Denver Broncos, and they are here next week.
And those powerful Pittsburgh Steelers playing tomorrow night.
Monday night against New Orleans. That's right. You're going down for that game, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Second down and 10. Wilson sacked. All the way back at the 36.
Well, Wade went the wrong way. Instead of stepping up that time, he dropped back and gave Malarkey, number 77, Mecklenburg, a chance to come in there and make the sack on it. Number 77, folks, right in the center of your screen. Yeah, you got to step up. Those ends are coming right. Those tackles, offensive tackles, are taught to get under the shoulder pads and take them wide. They did that, but he stepped back deep and got sacked.
Still 7-point 49er lead in the fourth quarter. And Houston going after its second in succession, leading the Jets. And the Raiders have gotten a field goal now to increase their lead over Kansas City to 17-0. San Diego has scored to cut the margin to 7 in their game with Miami. And that's an update on everything that has taken place so far in the National Football League. 3rd and 20, Big Ben play. 3 wide receivers going deep. Wilson being chased by Rulon Jones. Pulls up, lets it go. He's got a man open.
Good job.
Mike Jones for the first down at the 39-yard line.
Hey, that's just a good job by Wilson, avoiding the rush, getting outside the rush. Jones doing a fine job of driving the corners deep, came back, he's wide open, popped him with the ball. There he is, number 89. We hadn't had an opportunity to mention his name today.
4:06 and the clock stops on the completed pass. Coming up in just 4 days on Thanksgiving Day, the NFL Today will highlight champions on and off the field, Willie Davis and Max McGee. That begins at 12 Eastern time, and then the Green Bay Packers take on the Detroit Lions. Forrest Gregg, a man now seemingly secure in his job in Green Bay, and Monty Clark, of course, fighting to hang on in Detroit. Across the middle, bounce pass, incomplete. Intended for Darren Nelson at the 30-yard line.
Well, once again, Mecklenburg, number 77, getting
Malarkey's
inside.
on the other side.
I know it. Putting some pressure on young Wilson. He couldn't get his feet set that time, threw off the back foot, and consequently threw the football into the ground.
Wade Wilson is 7 of 81. 7 of 13 for 81 yards.
Oh, that's a good job.
7 of 81. That's stats I had in junior high school. 7 of 13 for 81 yards so far. 2nd down and 10, 4:02 to go in the game. Triple coverage. Mike Harden back. Randy Robbins back. And John Elway enjoying the day on the sidelines. Played only until midway through the 3rd quarter. Came out when he threw his 5th touchdown pass, tying a record for the Broncos set in 1962 by Frank Tripucka, whose son Kelly is now a star in the NBA.
Well, you can only, John had a great day. His offensive line did a fine job. And here's a guy, Tommy Kramer, number 9, has been injured. Has not had the opportunity this year to get in and play. He's a great quarterback. Just saw him put that hand up. I wonder if he was hollering at Elway.
Still got that chew in his cheek, too, doesn't he? 3rd down and 10. Blitz. Say goodnight. Ken Woodard, 3rd-year player.
Well, I'll tell you, they did a good job. It's two interesting thoughts here. Number one is they still have a lot of first-line players in for the Broncos, which is kind of puzzle. They got a big game next week. Obviously, this game is history. Secondly, they're blitzing. They're still blitzing, trying to keep these guys out of the end zone. That's really kind of unique. Normally, teams just play soft, play a little zone, get their first-line guys out, put the young kids in, let them play, and then the other team goes up and down the football field. Not so with these Broncos.
Broncos came in with 39 quarterback sacks, so they've increased that number to 44 for the season now, and it'll be 4th and 21 with 3.5 to go. Big Ben will come from the right side. 3-man Denver rush. Wilson lets it go deep. That'll be intercepted if not overthrown. Mike Harden has it at the 1-yard line. For Mike Harden, that's number 5 for the season.
But the interesting thing about Mike Harden is not so much his interceptions, Vern, but the fact that the guy, every time he's had an interception, has been able to return them 30 to 31 yards, which leads the NFL.
That's better than a punt, however, on 4th down, because the Broncos have it at their 2.
So this is the new log cabin.
Thanks for giving me a hand.
Hey, what are friends for?
Here's to good friends. Tonight's kind of special.
Try it this way.
The beer we'll pour says something more somehow.
Looks like we're about done, huh?
Not yet, you're not.
Tonight.
Not a bad day's work.
Next weekend, we put in the pool.
Let it be low and brown.
Looks like you're into winning.
You bet.
Then today Chevrolet has a car for you. Cavalier.
Come on in, and you'll know. Turn it on, let it go. It's at your command.
2 liters of electronically fuel-injected power, front drive agility, and optional sports suspension. Cavalier. Grab one.
If this is today's Chevrolet, it's a winner.
Drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy.
Live it.
Johnny Cash is a pool hustler who meets the son he never knew he had and saves him from following in his tragic life in The Baron and the Kid, Wednesday.
3:19 to go in the ball game. Broncos have the ball at their own 3. Gary Kubiak back in at quarterback. Came on in relief of John Elway in the third quarter. Handoff goes to Gene Lang. Well, it's been a great year for Danny Reeves and the Denver Broncos. 2-7 in the strike season, 9-7, losing to Seattle last year. Now they're going to 11-1. As I said, I've known him for a long time. He became a player coach for the Cowboys for a while, then the offensive coordinator. He got so frustrated with coaching in 1973, he got out of the business. And he's very candid about it. He said, I had to coach Dwayne Thomas when Dwayne was a troubled young man. I just didn't like what was going on. Had some problems with another of the assistants at the Cowboys. He sold real estate for a year. At the end of the year, he said, I think I like coaching. Came back, joined the Cowboys, then was interviewed for both the Rams and Giants jobs. He lost the Giants job to Ray Perkins. There's a motion in the line and a handoff on the right side.
You got illegal procedure. You got one of those deals where the back moves and the guy goes over. No, but, Reeves, I recall as, not really knowing Danny that well, and there he is again. It's the fact that he had so much respect for them because the Cowboy organization was putting out so many of the assistants as head coaches, and everybody seemed to want to get an assistant that had been under Tom Landry that could actually pick Tom Landry's brain and carry that over, and they could beat the Cowboys and thus far become a great football team. So when he had this interview for the Giant job, everybody figured he would get it. He did not. Came out here and got this job, and I for one, as an outsider, said, boy, they're really going to turn it around out there. They got Dan Reeves, who I thought was really a fine coach, and sure enough,
you know what?
They have.
He's the reason, Danny Reeves is the reason that Mel Renfro never became a great running back in the National Football League. I'll tell you why in just a second. All this little trivia, see, when it's 42-14.
Well, when you covered the Cowboys for 16 years, I mean, you should have lots of trivia.
Ray Alexander in motion, pitch out.
Tell me some trivia about this guy running the football.
Chris Brewer from Denver, 9th round draft choice, has carried more today than he ever has. That's not even trivia. No, the point about Danny is he came in as a former college quarterback at South Carolina. And in 1966, they had decided that Renfro, with his great speed, would make a terrific running back. They moved into offense. And Reeves, in his second year, showed so well in preseason as a slow but kind of shifty running back that they decided, well, we'll keep Dan Reeves on this roster and put Mel back at cornerback where he became All-Pro 10 times.
Smart coaching.
Timeout for the 2-minute warning. Back in a minute.
Giving that extra effort makes winners. Be all you can be. Sponsored by the U.S. Army. As a special teams captain and second-string fullback, New England's Mosi Tutupu, number 30, doesn't get many chances to carry the football. And when he does, he plays each down like it is going to be his very last. With a second-effort style that has enabled him to post the NFL's highest yards per carry average over the last 3 years, Mosi Tutupu is the best he can be.
In today's Army, when artillery goes to the field, so does high technology.
Be all that you can be. Keep on reaching. Keep on growing.
Computers, laser-guided missiles, and teamwork honed to a split-second response. Only the Army gives you this kind of training with just a 2-year enlistment.
You can do it in the Army.
At last, it will happen. It will happen in a week. The Seattle Seahawks will be here with a 10-2 record. The Denver Broncos will meet them with an 11-1 record. And then the same two teams will meet the final Saturday of the 1984 season in Seattle. Not an easy road that Denver has to mark now. They've got games at Kansas City and San Diego here, in addition to the 2 games with Seattle.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Chuck Knox team's not going to mind coming in here. These guys aren't easily intimidated, so it's going to be a great football game.
Ray Alexander in motion, pitch out Chris Brewer from Kubiak, and he's out to the 10-yard line. Scott Studwell again made the tackle. Well, we've made the point about the turnover ratio being one of the factors in Denver's success. Now look, updated through 12 games, Denver has taken it away 49 times, and that has resulted in 133 points. They have given it up only 20, and that has resulted in 33 points. Plus 29 will win you you'll have a winning record
Yeah,
this season.
you will. And you also saw the graphic in the lower part of your screen said 51% of their offense, of their scoring. So, I mean, you take the football away and you can score touchdowns with it. By golly, you're going to win football games.
Chris Norman to punt on 4th down, 4th and 2. And Darren Nelson waits for it at the Minnesota 45. For the Vikings, of course, a tough season. They've had only 8 starters from the 22 who started opening day who have played in every game. It's been that kind of an injury season. Here's Darren Nelson to about the 37-yard line. And it's not going to get any easier for Minnesota. Ricky Hunley made the tackle. 37-yard punt. 10 on the return. Coming up next weekend, doubleheader. The first game, the Rams against the Buccaneers. That begins with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern Time. Terry and I will be down in New Orleans to watch the 49ers and the New Orleans Saints. And some of you will also see the Chicago versus Minnesota game back at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, St. Paul. 55 seconds to go. Thank our producer Mike Burks and our director John McDonough, associate producer John Fortunato, and Vin DeVito, our broadcast associate. 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. Got the whole crew out here in God's country to the 29-yard line.
Looked like the old setup that time of tight end goes over the middle, catches the football, turn around and pitch it back to the back. That's exactly what that looked like. He just didn't pitch it back.
Got the family working today too. My wife Nancy Lundquist spotting with Joe Cash on one side, and Tom Lundquist spotting for Terry Bradshaw today. Since your brother Gary couldn't make it, it's a family feeling at CBS.
Tommy.
Well, he did a good job for you, except the one time when he had the sides reversed, right?
He did. I was sitting here talking about Minnesota, and we had Denver up. Good job, though, Tom.
26 seconds to go. We'll be going back to New York in a few minutes for a wrap-up of all the scores and highlights with Brendan Irv. As Dan Reeves, John Elway, and the Denver Broncos, you saw Danny just tap John on the thigh and say, "Good job, John." Brent Nerve coming up with the wrap-up show, scores and highlights from around the National Football League in Week 12, just about 26 seconds away. For John Elway, once again, 16 of 19, 218 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Number of touchdowns, a career high. And some folks thought he was on the verge of exploding. Indeed, he has done so today. 21 points in the first quarter, 14 in the second. Elway threw one more touchdown toss to Steve Watson in the third quarter and said, "That's a pretty good work day." It's a great feeling, Terry, isn't it?
Well, it is. You know, especially a young quarterback that has all this pressure, all this, media hype built around him, and to come in here and they got a new owner, and hey, that's a great feeling. It kind of eases that pressure off, gets some of that burden out of the way, and everybody says, hey, this kid's okay. 5 TDs, you bet he is.
2nd down and 2, Vikings. Collins in motion. Wilson back to throw. He has it complete to Collins across the middle for a 1st down at the 15. Clock is still winding down with 18 seconds to go. Gerald Wilhite opened the scoring with a 13-yard run. And after that, all John Elway and his receivers. That'll be thrown away and stop the clock with time for one more play. By the way, the sign in the background, "We love you, Coach Polsfoot," refers to one of the assistants here, Fran Polsfoot, who was suffering from a brain tumor and undergoing chemotherapy. Had to go back in the hospital for more treatment a week or so ago, but one of the wonderful things was to see him at practice on Friday afternoon, and the thoughts and good wishes of all of us go out to him as he continues his comeback from that medical problem. Last play of the game, 2nd down and 10. Wilson, left side, lateral play.
Touchdown!
How about that? They had one more gadget play left.
Well, I told you I saw that earlier, Vern. I guess they did it. Don't have to kick the extra point here. Can't go for 2, Vern.
Alan Rice, who's a rookie from Baylor, a 5th-round draft choice, teammate of Alfred Anderson, gets the touchdown on the lateral.
Well, this is a play they had shown earlier around the 50-yard line when I thought it's what it looked like, and sure enough, they came down here and did it again. I like what they did. Hey, they said, forget everything. We're going to score. Sure enough, they do. Wade comes back, pops fires the football in there. Does a good job. Sensor does a super job of getting the ball out. There you are, touchdown.
Extra point coming now from Jan Stenerud to make it 42-21. On the final play of the game, one more gadget play for the Vikings. There it is. John Elway with 5 touchdowns, our final score, 42-21. Denver wins it. Back with the wrap-up show. Stay tuned for that after this message.
That not only enhance individual performance, but work in harmony with one another and compatibly with our competitors to bring out the brilliance in all. Wang, we put people in front of computers.
I don't compete anymore, but I still pump iron. So after lifting a few hundred pounds, it's nice to lift one of these. Light beer from Miller. Light tastes great, and it's less filling with a third less calories than the regular beer. They know bodybuilding is hard work, but having a great body has its advantages. Sure makes it easy to pick up guys. Hi, Rodney.
Well, hi there. What's going on here? Hey, honey, how about a lift home, huh?
Like beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And less.
60 Minutes is coming up next on CBS, except on the West Coast. You'll see that at its regularly scheduled time. Headed for overtime, the Dolphins and the Chargers. The Chargers have just tied the game at 28. About 30 seconds to go. The Dolphins with the ball. Denver over Minnesota. Huge afternoon for John Elway, as you know. His best ever. He threw 5 touchdown passes. They've won 10 in a row. The Raiders snap back after losing 3 in a row. They beat the Chiefs today 17-7. The Jets and Houston. Houston will win for the second time. Time running down. They lead the Jets 31-20. San Francisco over Tampa Bay, 24-17, but the 49ers lose Ronnie Lott with a separated shoulder. NFC East, 3-way tie for the lead, Dallas, the Giants, and Washington because of these upsets. The Giants 16-10 over the Cardinals. The Eagles dump the Redskins by the same 16-10 count, and Buffalo holds the Cowboys to 0 touchdowns, 14-3 a win there. New England runs up 50 points, the most of the season. Point differential could be a factor in the playoffs.